first one's for astrogation. So looking at turn three right here, you chose to just play a 2-2. And I was actually a really big fan of this play. And I kind of want to get your thought process on why you chose to do this, maybe what context made you want to do this versus maybe these different hands that would make you not be okay with making such a play. But yeah, I kind of just wanted you to talk me through what you were thinking on this turn when you chose to play a 2-2.
Okay, so I had played Dagger on turn two. He used it. And basically my two plays this turn where I could read Dagger and I guess take 9 damage from the ooze, right? Just kill it over 2 turns and then play a Pillager the next turn. Fat of Knives is pretty miserable, so I'm never playing Fat of Knives. Against Reno Lock, I think one of the main risks of this matchup is like getting comboed at some point. I mean, the Reno usually has to play aggressive and put you in combo range and then get you. You usually win a longer game. So I decided that taking 9 damage from the Ooze was not a good idea. And yeah, the Edwin can get bigger later, but there's nothing in my hand that works well to make Edwin big, right? I don't have a counterfeit coin. I don't have the coin. I don't have preps. I don't have backstabs. I don't have anything in my hand that gives my Edwin any potential. So playing the Edwin to save 9 health is actually just the best, in my opinion. And it contests the board. I get to play Pillager uncontested, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, very good. I think that that's a very accurate read on your hand, knowing that it's not really getting better for a long time. Also looking at, did it come into your mind at all that you have 4 or 5, and then maybe you can just auction your on 6 anyway, so you're not really gonna have time to play it, let alone will it be very good.
Yeah, exactly. It's more like planning out the future turns yeah, I mean, I guess that said, I remember there's a part of this game later on where I played into the Nether turn, and I'm not really proud of that one, but I think I played this game reasonably well up to that point, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I think you played everything really well, and the Nether turn was bad. But yeah, I mean, this was really good. I was a really big fan of this. So yeah, overall, just wanted to hear your thought process on that. Thought that was really solid. I don't know where the other guy went, so we're gonna keep talking about this. So, why do you think Fan of Knives is so miserable here? And would you ever consider daggering up, but not taking the 9 damage, just leaving the ooze? Did you consider that as a possibility at all, of just leaving the 3-2 there?
I thought about I mean with Fan of Knives, right? I want to play Pillager next turn. So if I play Fan of Knives and I don't kill the ooze, he can just like trade coil. Like he can do a lot of things. I mean, in fact, he would go into 4 mana next turn, right? So he could even like play Drake, trade coin coil, and then I'm just like way behind, right? So that's Fan of Knivesing by itself is not great. The same thing with just daggering and not taking the damage. I'm still gonna take a round of damage from the ooze. And if I don't kill the ooze now, I'm basically like hoping to top deck like a backstab, right? And that's also just, I don't know, it just, again, the Edwin just wasn't getting better. So I just, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really good analysis. I definitely agree that the ooze being there is a detriment looking at your hand, and since you don't have like a tempo efficient way to deal with it, this is kind of just what you had to do to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the series overall? Do you think you played well for the most part? Were there any particular blunders you thought you may have made?
Yeah, there were actually a number of blunders. Well, this one, in this game, again, not playing around the Nether. I hadn't eaten any food up to this point today, so I guess I was a little bit. The thing is, like physical condition, I've recently started to realize is actually really important in Hearthstone. If you're not like rested, if you didn't eat anything and you're not thinking 100%, you can like miss things, and that was one of the things that I missed there. But also there was that Druid versus Rogue game where I went for he had a questing, right, and I didn't cycle the Wrath. That was just a mechanical error. That was because I was roping and I just accidentally clicked on the wrong one. But if I had cycled the Wrath, I could have found my second roots and then been able to remove the Pillager. So that was definitely a huge blunder in my part on that game. And then, of course, the most recent game, I think I should have probably tempoed out the Kun, perhaps. I thought about it a little bit. I should have probably tempoed out the Kun. And then after that, I forgot that Kun refreshes all your mana. So I played Kun when I had 10 mana when I could have Wrathed for 1 mana first before playing the Kun. So like, yeah, just the fact that I wasn't 100% on my game today. I made a couple of blunders, and I unfortunately regret those.
I mean, it's good that you can recognize them though, and they weren't huge mistakes. They were more those were more mechanical errors, like the mistake with the Kun. I think the larger one. I was thinking about whether or not to play the Kun the prior turn, and my instinct was to, but then Avro brought up a good point as well. You can just kind of wait and then beat him with the Emperor later.
Yeah.
Because you had time. So I can definitely get with what you chose to do either way. But yeah, thanks so much for your time, man. Really, really solid play overall throughout the series, and congrats on your win.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good. I mean, I know I looked stupid in the last game, and I realized it's the moment I saw the Thorisan on the board, but it's kind of weird what I had in my head actually.
Yeah, that was a weird game. I want to talk about you can see this play, right? This game state, turn
Uh,
6.
First screenshot, Warlock against Rogue with Mountain Giant.
Yes, that one. Yeah. So prior to this turn, in your hand you had Mountain Giant, Dark Peddler, and Coin, and you chose to go Peddler, then Giant, Coin, the Villager. Kind of walk me through why you thought that was the best play here.
Okay, so basically I start with Peddler over Mountain Giant because it's the same thing. So I
That
want
was
to like
good order, right?
changes like my play. So Peddler into Mountain Giant is something I want to do. And the reason I coined up the one drop was because I felt that like this particular one drop felt strong and it really contested the board. But given how the game went, it was probably better to save the coin to have dance like coin contesting another. So I think that was a misstep because it reduced my chances. Although I feel that I, my opponent's deck has like probably double Conceal and double Questing Adventurer. I already seen both Questing Adventurers, so I'm expecting to Conceal as well. So I know that maybe one board wipe will not be enough, but I still think that I had to save the coin to be more flexible and be able to coin the Questing Nether, and that was probably a bit harmful for the game.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think saving your coin, if you were going to play the Giant, was definitely going to be better because you know he's going into a big auctioneer turn. Did you consider at all playing Kazakus this turn over Giant because of the likelihood that your Giant gets sapped anyway, and because of how strong getting the deal for to everything Kazakus pushing could have been against an auctioneer turn potentially? Did that run through your mind at all?
Yes, I did, and I had to share the twist with the twisting nether actually over doing that. Because I mean, if I don't play Kazakus, then I can just twist the nether instead, and then Kazakus. But I just did the worst of the two plays, I guess.
Yeah. You left yourself. If you save the coin, you do leave yourself with a game against auctioneer, which I think is fine. But yeah, I just wanted to walk you through. I think it was definitely a mistake, but it's good you could recognize it. I don't think this is a type of mistake you'd make again, because knowing what your opponent's rolling into, knowing you have to save answers to that. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to walk through this turn a little bit. All right, very good. Thank you for your time, man.
Thanks. By the way, did you like go over the Druid game? Because I think I also like did some questionable plays there, but that
For
was
the most part, yeah, I think you took some good risks. I liked killing the Azure Drake and playing 7/8 the turn you did that. I thought that was really good. The only thing was you had a chance to maybe push 3 damage when you traded into a 3/3 the turn on turn 4 when you played Tomb Pillager, and there wasn't much punish. That might have been something to think about. But yeah, overall, I thought you played that game well.
I'm talking about the last game, the game with Handlock versus the Ringlock
Oh,
versus.
Handlock versus Druid.
It's like the weirdest game for me because
Yeah, we just think that you didn't take enough risks that game. And you're kind of playing too safe. You twisting together to kind of weak board. You were very hesitant to pull the trigger on rag. I would have personally ragged on like turn 8 and turn 9, where you went like twisting together and then dirty rat siphon. So I just think looking for more chances to take risks in a matchup like that would have been really good. But overall, it was fine. Yeah.
the point is, no, I think I played poorly. Like if the list were open, then I misplayed, like definitely in that spot.
Yeah.
The point was that I did not expect that exactly to play my opponent. The reason was that before the regame, I was expecting like this kind of druid, like a Kun druid with Aviana.
Yeah.
But after the regame, my opponent had a very aggressive start, and then I just saw cards like Riven Idol, like Druid of the Claw, and he just mulched my taunt, and like went very aggressive, which makes sense even for his specific deck.
Yeah.
But seeing both Hunters and two Riven Idols and two making very, very aggressive plays, I even considered the option of like the possibility of his deck being token. And if his deck is token, then I'm definitely like winning the game and go for a twisting nether. And
Sure.
from my spot, like it seemed like he's playing Token Druid a fair amount of the times. And if he's playing the Kakun Druid, I probably lose anyway, because I think it's a very tough matchup, especially the way it went, since I had a very slow start. So I just tried to win the times he was playing a more aggressive deck. Because if I go for the Rad on turn 8 instead of Twisting Nether, and he's playing an aggressive deck, I lose to pretty much everything, like a Savage Roll, like a lot of aggressive discoveries by the Raven Angle, and I don't know, maybe a second Charger. So I just try to win the times he's playing a more aggressive deck.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that you were at least thinking, you had some logic going there. Okay, yeah, so it was the turn where, it was this turn, it was turn 3, and I kind of wanted to just pick your brain a little bit on this turn. It was a really tough one. So the turn prior, what I was thinking was, you chose not to coin out the Tunnel along with the Totem Golem, because if your opponent played Frothing Berserker, that'd be really bad for you. Is that pretty much correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that seemed about right. So this turn was really interesting. You eventually choose to Totem, but I think that another valid play you had was maybe just Lightning Bolt with the Blood Mage. Can you walk through why you thought just being patient and looking for Blood Mage Portal into maybe a Lightning Bolt turn was better over just Lightning Bolting this turn and then maybe having stuff on board to contest this next minion?
Yeah, Thanos Bolt was definitely something I was considering. It seemed like a pretty easy play at first, but I find in this matchup that it's really easy to run out of cards because they tend to play like overstated minions like Twilight Guardian, and Champion can like really outvalue you easily. So I don't think working them down works as well, and that's something I learned from Tic Tac, who finished Rank 1 Legend with Dagger Shaman in July. Like he really likes to play for the board control versus Dragon Warrior. So I'm thinking if he plays Twilight Guardian next turn, I can just get a little bit more value out of my spell damage. So I can just go Thanos Portal and then bolt the Twilight Guardian and trade with the Monkey.
Yeah, that's definitely true. This was a really strong setup against the Twilight Guardian. Did you have any sort of, I guess, were you considering at all that maybe there's less copies of Ravaging Ghoul now in this Warrior deck, and that maybe going Thanos Bolt and leaving yourself with a 3-on and a 1/1 is ever a tough board state for him to deal with because he's down that? Maybe you can snowball off that.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking about that, especially more later in the game, because you'll notice I had like 2-1 like the 3-1 Totem Golem and the Thanos on the board for several turns.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was on my mind, but I ended up taking the value line, which I think worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely worked out really well. I thought it was really interesting, just showing the patience that you can have in this matchup. I think that's pretty much all I have. I thought this was a really well-played game. I'm not sure that I would have personally done the Blood Mage line, just being patient, but it worked out really well, and I can definitely see why you did it. So yeah, hats off. Good job on winning the series, and good job, man.
Thank you.
It's the NRG recruitment finals. I'm joined by William Amnesiac Barton. That karate chop could have killed a man. We also got Hot Meowth and FKI Shadow here to give some of their insights into the match that they played. Amnesiac, what have you come up with for these guys?
All right. So yeah, this is a pick of right after you chose to play the 6/6 Edwin on turn 2. I was just wondering, I think the big decision point this turn was whether or not to make it a 6/6 or an 8/8. And I was wondering why you chose to make it a 6/6 rather than just playing the prep.
I kind of want to save the prep in case I need like some tempo swings, like if I draw a spell. Because that way, like I have more tempo and more options there. And I feel like that play like gives me more options to control board, like more draw potential to control board.
Yeah, but don't you think that if you just make an 8/8 and then you taunt it next turn, that's like pretty strong, and then you don't need to draw the spell in the first place to get the tempo?
I usually don't like relying on one minion.
Do you think he's going to execute?
Well, I don't like the list is not public, so there might be a chance. But I know like most of the lists don't have execute. But I don't really like being more minion heavy. Like I like just having more options, like more spells to control. But that's definitely like it's not bad to just play and taunt it up.
Yeah.
I just like saving more resources. Like even though like you don't have any spells in hand, like there's more potential that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just looking for a longer conservative line. All right, yeah, that makes sense. So can we get to the next screenshot? Next one's for FKI Shadow. FKI Shadow, do you remember your turn 6 in the third game?
I think so. Yeah, I remember that. The
All right, good. So we're just gonna free ball this. So you chose to play Alex Shaw's champion and attack a 0/2 totem. and then play Core Chrono Elite and attack your opponent for 4, setting him to 15, and you were at 14. And you had the option to play Fierce Funky that turn and kill the 0-2, or you could have traded the Core Con. I thought that your play was by far the best one. And I want to just compliment you on, you got some kind of bad draws that series. Is kind of rough, but you were still able at the very end to like look for the winning lines and try and make some winning plays, which I thought was like really impressive, like to not get tilted and still be looking for winning lines. So I wanted to commend you on that for one. But I kind of wanted to get your thought process on what was going through your head when you chose to be aggressive like that rather than just taking the more conservative line and trying to grind them out.
First thing first, I will say my kids that was a really hard series that won 3-2 by Hot Meowth on a 1 out of 32 rag. First thing first. That's not a 3-0 in my mind. No, I'm kidding. The idea was, yeah, the exact thing you said. I mean, you got to play your odds. My odds was like Hot Meowth, DC, disconnecting. No kidding. I mean, my odds was like an unanswered 9-9, maybe, you know. But when you are that desperate, you got to do it. You know, you got to play for it. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still 1%, right? You got to chase that 1%. But I think it was a really amazing series. Congratulations to Hot Meowth. You played it perfectly.
Man, I love that. It's great.
I just think the bravery of the eye patch was the best part.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot about it. Sorry guys. Oh my god, there it is. I mean, you know, there it is. Now it's the real FKI Shadow. I had to, you know, patches is my favorite card of the expansion, you know, so I had to create an eye patch just for him. But yeah, after all, I think at this end, you got to, I guess, breaking the spell power totem makes sense, you know, and then going phase. Yeah, I think it was like 1%, maybe less. I must do the maths on this, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. All right. The first one's going to be for Death Star. First off, congratulations on a solid win, man. Very well played. So rather than talk about the game state, I more want to talk about kind of how this hunter deck works and how you generally tend to win games in general. Just like, how do you win with this deck? Is it always kind of this scrappy kind of getting there at the end, or do you wait for longer combos sometimes if you can afford it, or just kind of walk me through the deck building process?
Well, for this particular version, I kind of over-teched it for Shaman because that was kind of the theme of my lineup, was like, through Shaman, it's gonna die. So like, I would rather hedge my odds against somebody bringing a fairly popular meta deck, which was Shaman. Like, that was the deck everyone was going to bring. So I just brought 3 decks that I knew could just have like a 70+% win rate against it, even if they kind of jank around on ladder. They just have such an exceptional win rate in that matchup. I don't have to take the 50-50. So like, this one, you didn't get to see it, but it actually runs Doomsayers and Volcanic Drakes. I know it sounds dumb, but like, Shaman can't beat a Doomsayer on turn 2. And when you play it, if they can't kill it, more often than not, it's killing 2 guys because of the Pirate. And that means you get a 3-mana buff for the Drake. So that means a lot of times I've been consistently dropping turn 3 Drakes against Shaman. That'll entirely destroy their tempo, making them follow up with Lava Burst, and that just like destroys all their burst. Then it comes into a resource war, which they lose because they overextend, and then you just blow them out with an Unleash.
All right. I mean, I was saying during the cast that I don't know how to win with the 6-4 deck, but apparently you do. So that's pretty cool. It's fun to see such an innovative deck having such great success. All right. Can we get into the second screenshot for Ardglong? All right, very, very similar. This is more about the game.
Yeah.
This one is, I think this is one of your more interesting turns. So you had a lot of options here. Kind of walk me through why you chose to do what you do instead of maybe just dropping an Azure Drake or maybe playing the Totem Golem along with the Jade Claws and the Spirit Claws and the Lightning Bolt. Just kind of walk me through it.
All right. So the options are either trade and then either to play Drake and trade or but I didn't want to like overload too much so that I can't even play the Drake next turn. So I think the best play would been to get the weapon and then lightning bolt it and hit face so I can be able to play a Drake next turn.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
And keep my tone alive.
Yeah, if you had overloaded too much, then you would have had a stranded hand. But at the same time you got the push damage. Yeah, I definitely agreed with your analysis of the situation. I just kind of want to see if you were considering all the options. But yeah, I agree. I think this is a lot better what you did than trading and playing an Azure Drake. All right, the first one's for Rosti. So this was turn 5 of the Druid versus Rogue, or the Rogue versus Druid rather. And so
yeah,
here
I
you chose to,
prepped fan here.
yeah, you chose not to prep fan, and I kind of just wanted you to talk me through why you thought saving the prep here was going to be better.
I didn't. I roped out, and then by the time I figured out that it was just way better, I could play prep, but I couldn't. I didn't think I'd make it in time, so I just decided to keep it.
Okay, so you were aware that this was a mistake.
Yeah,
we thought this was definitely a good turn to prep fan, just under the logic that you play aggressively, you get tempo, you force an answer on your Drake, and then just add some coin swashbuckler is pretty solid follow up to that.
Right.
But, yeah, so long as you recognize this is a mistake. I kind of just figured you weren't that experienced on Rogue. I've never really seen you play Rogue.
Yeah, I'm really not. I'm definitely not. I'm not the Rogue man. That's definitely like lack of experience. It's part of the reason why I roped out, I think. I don't know. Like, I think the Rogue games I was roping a lot, but like it's lack of experience for sure. I definitely am not like amazing at Rogue.
Yeah, but I definitely thought you played the Warrior game well. Like, especially turn 5, where you played Acolyte instead of shield blocking. I thought about it for like the whole turn, and then I decided that was better. So that was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into this second screenshot. This one's from the same game. It's gonna be for you, in fact. Oh yeah. So this is the turn where you chose to coin, innervate, nourish, and I kind of just wanted you to walk me through why you thought that was better than just say taking it slow and hero powering, or maybe like pointing out Blossom.
A lot of it had to do with the contents of my deck. I knew that my deck had a lot of card draw. I knew that my deck had a lot of big threats, and I knew that my hand already had another ramp card. So I wanted to like ramp as much as possible, honestly, just to get through to my 6 drops and my 8 drops, like have enough mana to play them. I also played Ragnaros in the deck along with the double Arcane Giant, so I really wanted just to be able to play my cards at a stage of the game where the Rogue really couldn't answer it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agreed with the ramp decision, just because having cards in hand against Rogue is much less important than being the aggressor, being ahead on tempo, having solid answers, and developing your minions. So I thought that was definitely a good decision. Showed a lot of understanding of the matchup. All right, very good. Well played to both of you. Congratulations on your win, Impact. And yeah, thanks for joining us for the NRG Recruitment Finals.
So that's going to wrap it up for the NRG Recruitment Finals. 5 matches have taken place. We've seen 5 victories. But at the end of the day, it's going to be Amnesiac choosing who's coming through to Team NRG on the roster. That's going to be taking place in January. So a little bit of time for him to think about it. And in order to catch how that announcement's going to be taking place, of course, you're going to want to follow GamerSensei app over on Twitter. Not only that, but you're going to get updates to all the stuff that's going on alongside GamerSensei. So one of the big ones that's happening is the Wednesday 100. Every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, you're going to see pros battling it out in this tournament. So make sure you follow the channel here as well as GamerSensei app on Twitter to stay up to date with that. Before we sign off, Amnesiac, do you have any final words for us?
Yeah, I thought this was awesome, honestly. Just getting to pick people's brains after the match. I mean, I don't really know how to cast. I was just kind of making it up. But this is really fun. I mean, we got to watch some really good Hearthstone. It's a new meta, which is always fun to see what people come up with for that. But yeah, I mean, thanks so much for joining me, Admirable. I know you did this mostly out of your own goodwill. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. And once again, if you enjoyed the content, you can follow either of us on Twitter. You can follow GamerSensei app on Twitter for updates about the conclusion and the results of this tournament. But yeah, I think that's all I got. I had a really good time. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for watching, everyone in production, for Amnesiac, for myself. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.